की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22 and Text 35. Ayatam Yamaha Tasyasan Ayatayamas Tasyasan Yamah Swantara Yapanaha Yamah Swantara Yapanaha Shunvato Dhyayato Vishnoho Shunvato Dhyayato Vishno Kurvataha Bravataha Kathaha Kurvato Bravatah Kathaha Ayatayamastasyasan Yamaha Swantarayapanah Shunmato Dhyayato Vishnoh Kurvato Bravatah Katha. Ayatayamastasyasan Ayatayama, time never lost. Tasya, of Manu. Asan, va, Yamaha, the hours. Swaantara, his duration of life. Yapanaha, bringing to an end. Shunvataha, hearing. Dhyayataha, contemplating. Vishnoho, of Lord Vishnu. Kurvataha, acting. Bravataha, speaking. Kathaha, the topics. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of a Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. Please repeat. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end. His long life, consisting of a Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As freshly prepared food is very tasteful, but if kept for 3 or 4 hours becomes stale and tasteless, so the existence of material enjoyment can endure as long as life is fresh. But at the fag end of life, everything becomes tasteless and everything appears to be vain and painful. The life of Emperor Swayambhu Manu, however, was not tasteless. As he grew older, his life remained as fresh as in the beginning because of his continued Krishna consciousness. The life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. It is said that the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, and its business is to reduce the duration of everyone's life. But the sunrise and sunset cannot diminish the life of one who engages in Krishna consciousness. Swayambhu Manu's life did not become stale after some time, for he engaged himself always in chanting about and meditating upon Lord Vishnu. He was the greatest yogi because he never wasted his time. It is especially mentioned here, Vishnu Kurvato Bravata Katha. When he talked only of Krishna and Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. When he heard something, it was about Krishna. When he meditated, it was upon Krishna and his activities. It is stated that his life was very long, 71 yugas. One yuga is completed in 4,43,20,000 years. 71 of such yugas is the duration of the life of a Manu, and 14 such Manus came and go in one day of Brahma. For the entire duration of his life, 43,20,000 into 71 years, Manu engaged in Krishna consciousness by chanting, hearing, talking about, and meditating upon Krishna. Therefore, his life was not wasted, nor did it become stale. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Parapoto Majnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Swayambhuva Manu, a very special personality, and one important blessing that he had was a long duration of life, Swantara, and his lifespan was 71 into one yuga, that is 43,20,000 years. That is the lifespan that he has. Swantara yapana, it is coming to an end. One may be having a very big lifespan, but it will come to an end. So, yapana, it is coming to an end. Then what happened? Did his life become stale, painful? Ayatayamas tasya san. Although his lifespan is ending, and that means he is getting old, Still, his life, his time that is spent in these years was never lost, never went in vain. Ayata yama. What did he do? Why his life became ever fresh? There are 4 activities are mentioned here. Shunvataha, he used to hear about Vishnu. Then dhyayataha, not only hearing, he also used to contemplate. He used to meditate on those sentences, on those pastimes, on those instructions. So Shunvato dhyayata Vishnu kurvataha. And not only hearing, once you hear, you get inspired, then you want to actually practice. So those instructions will come into actual action. Kurvataha, then bruvataha. He also spoke about it. So first is hearing, you are thinking, contemplation, thinking, there will be some feelings, and then there is a willingness to do. Always manasa, then comes to vacha, words. So he started speaking about Krishna. And then karmana, kurvan means is actually acting. These are the stages. Any idea, any thought, first it comes into the mind, then you start speaking about it sometime, and then it finally manifests as an action. Kurvataha. So that's the sequence we see here. And so Shunvato dhyayato Vishnu kurvato bruvata katha. So this is the glorious life of Manu. As a leader of the mankind, Manu has shown how one has to perfect his human form of life by continuously engaging in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, ayatayama means ever fresh or never went in vain. Time is never lost. Prabhupada is giving the example that a food when it is cooked, hot, fresh, then it remains very tasteful. It is fresh and tasteful. But after 3 hours or 4 hours, it becomes tasteless. It becomes yatayama. Ayata means remains fresh. Yatayama means becomes stale. So then, of course, this principle doesn't apply to prasadam. Prasadam, externally, it may be looking stale or old, but it always remains potent, powerful, potent prasadam, that is. So even if it is apparently, so to say, smelling, still we can honor the prasadam. But ordinary food, if it is stale and if you eat, you will be pushed into ignorance. So life also seems to be very exciting when the life is fresh, particularly in the youthful years. Everything is exciting. Life looks an unending story of joy, happiness and bliss, and one goes on like that. But then when it comes to the fag end of life, everything becomes tasteless and painful. This is for the ordinary person. They experience the tasteless life as the years pass by, and then they become older. But for a devotee, the life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. Why? Because he is always engaged in the freshful, youthful topics of Krishna. This is the secret. If you are meditating on a youthful, blissful object, you will also remain blissful and happy. This is the secret. The eternal object on which we are meditating, that should be Sachidananda, full of bliss. So Krishna is a ocean of happiness, and his dealings with his devotees is full of happiness and bliss. And so when we contemplate on those pastimes, automatically a devotee also remains ever fresh. Actually, it is said that Krishna and Balaram, as young boys, they also went to a Gurukul to learn various arts. It is said that they joined Sandip Muni ashram, Avantipura, and then in the daytime they used to hear about one particular art, and then by night they would have perfected it. By next morning they are ready for the second. In 64 days and nights they completed 64 arts. This is the speed and power with which they completed their education. Actually, Krishna is the source of all these arts. But nonetheless, to set an example, he has accepted Sandip Muni, and then he does all this. So once their education is completed, Vedic custom is that we have to offer Guru Dakshina. Whatever the Guru says, one has to do. So, as disciples, Krishna Balram, they ask the spiritual master, what can we offer as Guru Dakshin? Then Sandipani Muni, he sees that my disciples are very powerful, and so he says, can you bring back my dead son back to life, back to my home? So then it is a big story how Krishna and Balaram, they retrieve the son of Sandipani Muni from the Yamaloka and then brings him back to life, back to his family. That time, Sandipani Muni, being very happy, he says, Tustoham bho dvijashreshta, you boys are first class Brahmanas. He is addressing Krishna Balaram as Dvijashreshta. Satya Santu Manoratha. He is given first blessing. What is that? May all your desires be fulfilled. Satya Santu Manoratha. Whatever you desire, it will be fulfilled. Then he says, Chandamsi Ayatayamani. He says, the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you. Ayatayama means they remain fresh. So, generally, whatever we learn, the Vedic mantras, if we are not fixed in Krishna consciousness, slowly they lose their charm. What used to drive us in Krishna consciousness, the philosophy, the fundamentals, and the original concepts of Krishna consciousness, they lose their charm. So to say, the taste becomes stale. Yatayama it becomes. Ayatayama means never becomes stale. So Sandipani Muni is giving a blessing to both Krishna and Balaram, that this Chandamsi, these Vedic mantras, will ever remain fresh in your heart. Now, how is it that we also received Chandamsi from Prabhupada? We have received Vedic mantras. In fact, we have received the essence of all Vedic mantras, the mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So, it is, how do we ensure that Yatayama doesn't come into this Hare Krishna Mahamantra? How it will remain Ayatayama? This is the disciples. So here we can see one has to serve a pure devotee, one has to serve Prabhupada and gain his blessings. Krishna Balaram, by their service to the spiritual master, great respect and service, they gained his favor. Immediately they got the blessings. Similarly, our perfection in chanting, this Hare Krishna, comes by blessings of a pure devotee. You have to satisfy. As a disciple, there is no other option. Then this is the easiest option. What is that? By our service, if you can satisfy him, then the confidential understanding of mahamantra, the confidential service to mahamantra becomes revealed, becomes easier in our heart. So, Guru's blessings and Vaishnava's blessings are very important. Our life is not an individual struggle in the mind and intelligence. Our Vaishnava life is not meant to be an isolated, a silo, struggling along like a pillar. No, it is Sankirtana. We are all supposed to be together. And then, the juniors, they should seek the blessings of the seniors, and the senior Vaishnavas should also, Jai Radha Govinda, they should kindly give instructions to the juniors and then ensure that they also progress. It's a cooperative environment. Vaishnava culture is highly personalistic. One has to seek the blessings. So here we can see Sandip Muni's blessings, and we will see that actually Krishna Balaram, whatever they desired, all their desires are fulfilled. Although they don't need actually Guru's blessings, but nonetheless, as an example, they have shown that. So here it is mentioned that yes, he always engaged in this glorification of the Lord. This is so here it is mentioned Vishnu kurvato bruvata katha. When he talked only of Krishna and Vishnu, and when he heard about Krishna, and when he meditated, it was upon Krishna and his activities. It's a very important instruction. So when we are talking, how many times we are uttering Krishna? This is the challenge. Talking Krishna challenge. What is that? When we are talking to each other, how many times I am able to say Krishna? Actually, this was the criteria for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to approve an article to be published in his magazine. I think Sajjan Toshini. So, he used to see whenever an article comes, he used to see, and then he used to simply count how many times he has mentioned Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna's names. And if there are ample, profusely, somebody has mentioned those holy names, immediately will say, yes, it is past. You can publish this. So, this is the secret of our life. How I can bring Krishna always into my life. Whether I am talking, whether I am writing, or whether I am hearing, I like to hear, talk and meditate only on Krishna. It's not that we do some for some time some deity worship and that's enough. One has to constantly, consciously try to remember Krishna always. We have to keep Krishna in the mind always. And this is the only secret. If you don't keep Krishna in the mind, the powerful sun in the mind, then there is a darkness in our mind and heart. In the darkness you see there are some forms, some videos and some pictures, and then that dark objects will pull you into further dark activities. So this darkness has to be dispelled in the heart and mind, and that is possible when you keep the illuminating sun, that is Krishna. There is no other alternate. Making adjustments in the mind, the disturbing thoughts sometimes, they very uncomfortable. So people try to adjust these thoughts. So trying to adjust these thoughts in the mind, useless activity. You will not be able to do it. What you need to do is bring Krishna. You have to bring Krishna into the mind, and then only there is an illumination in the mind, in the chittam, in the consciousness, and through that illumination you can see what is that object which is capturing my attention. And when the darkness is gone, you will be able to see the reality. Oh, only this. Why am I fearing this? Why am I getting attracted to this? This is not my taste. So devotee, as he progresses in his chanting and transcendental knowledge, he will be able to see clearly the things as they are, and then he understands that none of these objects are meant for enjoyment. So the tendency of a conditioned soul is that whatever he sees, he wants to be the enjoyer. This is how the mind works. He sees, a boy sees a girl, or a girl sees a boy. The immediate thought that comes into the mind is of enjoying each other. Or there is certain category of people, they think that they are the well-wishers of a particular community, and they try to do some welfare activities. And there is, they want to become friend of some people. And then there are many people, they fight for proprietary rights. This we see in the country level fightings that are going on now. There will be some border issues for between each country. And what is this border issue? Border issue means proprietary issues. Where to draw the line? This country is saying this is my portion. That country is saying no, this is my portion. And there is a conflict zone. This is called border issue. So proprietary rights. So conditioned soul is always thinks in these three directions: proprietorship, enjoyment, and then he wants to be the friend, of all the whatever is community or this and that. So as long as with these intentions the conditioned soul lives in this world, his life is simply called dreaming. He is always dreaming about becoming a supreme enjoyer. Out of all the enjoyers, he wants to be the topmost. Out of all the proprietors, billionaires, he wants to be the number one. Of all the friends, he wants to be the most charitable person. These are the drives that a living entity has. But then as soon as the conditioned soul comes to the senses, after trying for enjoying for many times, he comes to the senses and thinks that no, I am not the enjoyer. If somebody recognizes that Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the proprietor, and Krishna is actually the real friend, then is this illusion, Maya, goes away from the heart. This is the only way. As long as we think that we are enjoyers, we can never get rid of bad habits. As soon as we think that I can lord it over somebody else, exploit somebody else, our thinking is like then we can never become we can never get rid of the habits. So that's why this Krishna consciousness involves continuously focusing on Krishna and understanding how Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, He is the supreme friend, and he is the supreme proprietor. Now, how do you know that Krishna? How do we know Krishna like this? That is, Shunvato Dhyayato Vishnu Kurvato Bruvata. Here, Dhyayata means contemplation. We have to understand this process, Dhyayataha. So, Bhagavad Gita also explains this process. Dhyayata Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate. Sangha means attachment, association and attachment. How do we develop attachment in this world for any object? How do you develop? That is by dhyayataha, contemplation. Always thinking about it in the mind, and in what direction you think, either to enjoy, or like a proprietor you think, or you want to be like a friend helping. These are the kind of ways in which you want to contemplate on an object. Most of the people, particularly in the younger days, the thinking will be towards the enjoyment. And then once they become a little older and this and that, they want to earn more and more, become big billionaire. They want to establish their kingdom. So as soon as we start contemplating, go on thinking. For example, let us say a rich man is going on the road. He sees that there is one more big car is going in the front. Some new car has come into the market. Now he is driving something, and then suddenly he sees one big. Nowadays, all the cars are coming up in various shapes and models and creative. It attracts the attention. The other day I saw one. It's like a big boat. It is occupying so much of space basically. So as soon as he sees, he says, "Hare, how did I miss this? I have to be better than this." So you can see he wants to be the owner or proprietor of a much better car. His thinking, his contemplation begins there. How much is this? What is the model? Where did he got? Sometimes they import specially, and the car will be around 4 crores, 5 crores or something like that. This is there. I know this thing. So he's thinking in the direction. I want to own it. And then the enjoyment, whatever they see, they want to lust, they want to enjoy. And sometimes they see some beggars and they feel very sympathetic and they want to be a friend and reform. Continuously the jiva is thinking in these directions. This is dhyayataha, contemplation. As long as we contemplate, go on thinking and thinking in the mind, how to become a good friend, how to become a proprietor or own something, or how to be an enjoyer, then we live in a very risky life. Material life by nature is extremely risky. Why? Because as soon as we approach an object with any of these three mentalities, immediately there is a reaction. You want to be the enjoyer, the best, okay, then be ready for the best reaction. It's a very risky life. You want to eat and wonderful food and nicely enjoy, that's fine, but then there is a reaction. Many of the people, they want to eat abominable things, and that's a great risk. By design, material life is risky. And people are ready to take any risk for material enjoyment. A thief knows that by stealing he is taking a big risk, but still he does it because he wants to be the enjoyer. Like that we see people take such big risks. They go and do adventure sports. Like we have got one brahmachari when I was in Bangalore. Before he came in touch with Krishna consciousness, he used to be into adventure sports. I used to ask him, what did you do? They used to go to on a big mountain cliff, and then they're paragliding or something, they were and they jump. Once they jumped and it didn't work, all hands and bones are fractured. Somehow he survived. What a risk. People, they're ready for any risk to find a novel way of enjoying. This is the enjoyer conscious novel way. So one more video I have seen. They're on the edge of a mountain, and this is a Julan. And so when you push the Julan like this, it actually goes into the air. Behind there is nothing, it's a big valley. They're on the edge of the mountain, and that Julan is there, and then they keep the people there, and then he is pushing like this. And they go into the sky. They're all enjoying. And the Julan comes back here. Again he pushes. Once he was pushing like that, tuck, it broke. Went in. What a risk they take. So, if at all you want to take risk and want an adventure in our life, then join Krishna consciousness movement. This is the risk worth taking. Just for some little that adrenaline, some rush, some hormone increase and some adventure enjoyment. So much risk people are taking. So your risk taking tendency can be offered to Krishna. Join and then preach. This is not a risk. This is a very safe path. Become a good preacher and take all the risk to reach out to people and tell them that, Haribol, you cannot be an enjoyer. Krishna is the enjoyer, and serve him to become happy. This is our preaching. Our preaching is not palatable to many, but we should nicely distribute Prabhupada's the books, his knowledge, and then tell them that how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any questions? Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.